They tell you grief comes in 5 stages. So no one really warns you about the 6th stage. The one where you have to keep going. You have to handle logistics, field bizarre requests, and become the strong one when all you really want is your loved one back. And in my case, it's my mother back. No one tells you about the overwhelming guilt that haunts your quiet moments, or the audacity of people who think your tears or your lack of them are public property. Today, we're talking about the untold side of grief. If you're tired of being told how to grieve, this episode is for you. Welcome to Haven Hub Life. I'm Lolly, a life coach and your guide and fellow traveler for strong, high-functioning women navigating life's hardest chapters with dignity and honesty. And each week, we name the quiet struggles, we unpack the emotional weight, and we explore the shifts that move you toward clarity and what you actually want. You don't need to fix yourself. You just need a way through. I know grief up close because my mom died unexpectedly after a really tough battle with cancer. It is a journey that looked, at least in her case, in her last months, as if she might pull through. So we hoped. We thought we had time. And all of a sudden, her health turned, and the woman who held the world together for us, for everyone really, our warrior, our force, she was gone before we could truly understand what was happening. She would have wanted her funeral planned with the kind of precision only she could have pulled off, to be honest. And so I did what I thought she'd expect. I organized, I stayed stoic, and I made sure every detail was right to the best of my ability. But as I did, it felt like the world kept tossing me curveballs. Curveballs that I never saw coming. Now, if you can relate, if you've ever been one who has had to hold it together while your own loss feels invisible, well, I want you to stay on with me here. Let's start with the basics. Grief is not a 5-step process. It's a story that rewrites itself every morning you wake up, and you wake up to this ache in your chest and have to remind yourself that she's really gone. Like, nobody prepares you for the performance of grief that is expected by all these other people. When my mom died, people leaned in with the strangest fascination. They seemed almost disappointed that I didn't break down in public. I stayed strong, for her at least, and for my family, because her legacy was one of resilience. Some people tried harder and harder to provoke the tears, asking me loaded questions saying, "But how are you really feeling? Let it out, just cry." And it was less about supporting me and more about making themselves comfortable with my pain, or even worse, turning my loss into spectacle. The truth is that your grief isn't a show. You don't owe anyone public displays of emotion, and no one gets to grade how well you're grieving. If your grief shows up as getting things done, or holding back tears, or just feeling numb, I want you to know that you don't owe anyone any apology. Your story is yours to tell. Now let's talk about the other side of grief that really took me aback. The side where, like, when the caregiver passes away, everybody who they have been taking care of freaks out and comes with empty hands and open mouths. My mom gave endlessly to others, and when she passed, these people were in a massive panic, not only about her loss, but about who would fill her shoes. There were condolences in one breath, and in the next, they were like, "Oh, who will pay my child's medical bills? And can you help with this or that?" Sometimes, grief reveals the real balance of giving and receiving in your wider world. You're managing funeral arrangements, family, existential shock, and then you're handling everyone else's fear of losing their savior. I felt angry, furious, and I still am to this day. I felt even violated at these requests, but that's part of the story we never hear. Grief makes givers even more visible, even as they become invisible in their own pain. My nuclear family, who were, for the most part, scattered across continents, finally reunited for the first time in 8 years. And when we wanted private moments to grieve together, some outsiders were very deeply offended for some reason. They wanted access to our pain, they wanted access to our story, and they also wanted access to our home. our family as a whole. But sometimes honoring your grief means closing doors to protect what matters, even when others don't understand and they get upset about it. So be it. If you're listening and recognizing this tension and trying to hold your boundaries through loss while the world keeps asking for more, I want you to pause for a second. We've created free scripts for grieving boundaries at work and at home. You don't have to shrink to keep the peace, even in the hardest season of your life. So you can find these tools at the link in the show notes. So here's my invitation to you. The first step in integrating grief into your now everyday life, as it's not going anywhere anytime soon, it isn't about swallowing it or being strong for anyone. No, that's not what this is about. It's telling your truth out loud. Maybe your truth is that you're furious at the world. Maybe it's that you're numb or in shock, or that joy feels very far away. If you're a fixer like I was, maybe you're validating yourself by achievement, by making the perfect funeral, by keeping siblings together, by trying to live up to her standard. And you're not wrong for that, but don't let these tasks become your only way through. I want you to show yourself grace, practicing saying things, even if just in your mind or in a whisper, things like, my grief matters. My story isn't here for everyone else's entertainment or approval. I want you to remember that you're allowed to mourn in whatever way is true for you. And your mother or your loved one, mother in my case, your loved one will be proud of you. If any of this resonates, this space, Haven Hub, is built for you. Every week we unpack the things no one prepares us for and gives you real scripts, rituals, and support for living with big feelings, big losses, and big loves. If you've ever felt like you had to swallow your story to survive, I want you to join us and subscribe and hit the like button. You're not alone here. If you want even deeper support, something like group coaching, a community of women, and a next level of healing, I want you to check out our upcoming workshops. Your grief deserves space, and so do you. Thank you for listening today. If this stirred something in you, send it to someone who'd get it too. You never know who's holding the same thing quietly. I'm Lolly, and I'll see you next time. Until then, keep choosing you. Bye.